Hi, so this is the part second of the video which we had started yesterday, Resource and Development, chapter number 1, class 10. So yesterday we talked about what is resource. We had discussed the proper definition of resource, like this is on the screen. Everything available in our environment which can be used to satisfy our needs, but provided it is technologically accessible, economically feasible, and culturally acceptable, can be termed as resource. Then after, we discussed how human beings interact with nature with the help of technology and create institutions. So this is the interdependent relationship between the nature, technology, and institution. Then we discussed about resources. Resources we classified into two parts, natural resource and human resource. Further, there is a division in natural resource, renewable and non-renewable. Renewable means which get renewed very easily, but non-renewable means which take millions of years to get renewed. So further, renewable are two types are there, continuous and biological. Continuous means like wind, air, water. These are continuous or flowing resources. Second is biological. Biological, bio, which means life, living. So flora and fauna, plants and animals. Then we discuss non-renewable, recyclable and non-recyclable, like the metals. All the metals are recyclable, like gold, silver, iron. We can recycle them easily. And non-recyclable means like fossil fuels like coal, petrol, diesel, kerosene. These got exhausted when once used. After that, we discussed about human resource. Two types are there, structure and institution. Means human being creates infrastructure, buildings and institutions. Second is quality and quantity. In India, we have quantity of human resource, like quantity is much more greater in number than the quality of human resource. Now today let's get started with the next topic. The definition is there about that triangle which we had discussed yesterday, interdependent relationship between the nature, technology and institution. So the process of transformation of things available in our environment involves an interactive relationship between nature, technology and institutions. And the process of transforming different things which are available in the environment and which will involve the interdependent relationship between the nature, technology and institution. And human being interact with nature through technology and create institution to accelerate their economic development. Means the main factor here is human being. Human being will interact with nature with the help of different type of technology, and then will create various types of institution to accelerate, to increase his or her economic development, right? So do you think that resources are free gifts of nature, as is assumed by many? Do you think that resources are free gift? They are not. Resources are not the free gift of nature. We have borrowed them from our coming generation. These are not free gifts. We have borrowed resources from the coming generation. So we have to be very careful while using the resources. So resources are a function of human activities. Human beings themselves are essential component of resources. So human transform material available in our environment into resources and use them. Suppose there is a resource, and whenever, until and unless the human being is not interacting with that resource, not using that resource, not trying to extract this resource from the earth, then there is no use, there is no significance of that resource, right? So human beings themselves are the essential component of resource. Human being transform materials available in our environment into resources. When we are not using any particular resource, we are not doing any work on that, then we will not call it resource now. This will be only a material which is available in our environment. Until and unless we are not using it, we are not making it resource. And who will make it resource? With the help of technology, human being will interact with nature and create some various type of institution by using that resource and develop their own economic development will be there. So these resources can be classified into following ways. There are some ways. First is on the basis of origin. Origin means the starting point from where the resource had arrived. What is the origin? So there are two types, biotic and abiotic. Biotic means living, which are having life, and abiotic means non-living. Second one is on the basis of exhaustibility. Means what is their ending source, where they are ending, where they are exhausting, like renewable and non-renewable. Renewable are not exhaustible, like they get renewed every time, and non-renewable are the resources which takes millions of years to get renewed. So exhaustibility means those who are renewable and non-renewable. Means this resource, renewable resource means which get renewed very easily. We don't have to get bothered about their usage. But the non-renewable will take millions, billions of years. So we have to be careful. Third one is on the basis of ownership. Owner. Who can be the owner of particular resources? Like individual can be the owner. A whole community can be the owner of any particular resource. National level means the national government of the country can be the owner, or the international, some 2 3 or more countries can become the owner of a particular resource. So on the basis of ownership, four types are there: individual, community, national and international. Individual resource means, suppose there is a school, there is a building, there is a park in front of the school, playground of the particular school. Then who is the owner of that playground? Who is the owner of that park? The person who owns the entire school, an individual person, right? So this parks belongs to that person only. So this is the example of individual resource. Now community means, suppose there is a small village, and at the center of the village there is a well, right? And all the people can use the water from that particular well. So the well is the example of community resource. Like there is a park provided by the government of that area. So this is the community resource, everybody can use that resource. National means, at the national level, the government of India for our country can be the owner. And international means the resources which are available in the oceans, or far off places which are not sharing border with any particular country. So 2 or 3 countries can collaborate with each other and can be the owners of that resource. So this is the international resource. Next is on the basis of status of development. Status of development, there are further categories. First is potential, then develop, stock and reserve. Potential means, it means that resources which are found in any particular region but have not been utilized so far. Potential means resources are there in any particular region of the country, but these resources have not been utilized so far. They are just kept there. So we have the potential, we can use that resource, but we are not using that resource. For example, Rajasthan and Gujarat have enormous potential for the development of wind and solar energy. Wind and solar energy, there is enormous potential in Rajasthan and Gujarat, but so far this have not been developed properly. So this category will be of potential resource. Means resources are there in a particular region but have not been utilized so far. Example, Rajasthan and Gujarat, wind energy, solar energy, right? Now developed is the name already saying, resources which are surveyed and their quality and quantity have been determined for utilization. The development of resource depends on technologically level and their feasibility. So that type of resources which are properly surveyed, we know what is the quality and what are the quantity of that particular resource of any particular area, है ना? The quality and quantity have been surveyed properly, but the further development of the resource depends on the technological level and the economic feasibility. We had discussed in video number 1 in the definition of resource what is economical feasible means, right? So the resource should be in our economic sphere. The price should be not that much high that we are not able to reproduce. So it should be in our budget. The cost of extracting the resource should be not much more than the when we will getting the profit of that resource, right? So it should be economical feasible. Third is stock means materials in the environment which have potential to satisfy human needs, but human beings do not have the appropriate technology to access this resource. Stock means resources are there in the materials are there in the environment which can satisfy human needs, but we do not have the appropriate technique to use them. How can we use them? We are not having that particular technology. So this will be kept under the category of stock. For example, water is a compound of two gases, hydrogen and oxygen. Both are the gases. Hydrogen can be used as a rich source of energy, but we do not have the advanced technique to use it for the purpose, and hence it can be considered as stock. Hydrogen and oxygen is a compound, no, right? It is water, but we can separate hydrogen from the water, and hydrogen can be used as a fuel, can be used as a very rich source of energy, but we don't have the technical know-how, that much advancement in the technology that we can separate the hydrogen from the water. So this is in this category. Next is reserves. Reserves means these are the resources which can be used with the help of existing technology, but their use has not been started. We have the resource, we know the technology, we have all the criteria, but still the use has not been started yet, because we have reserves of that resource for the future generation. Suppose the river water, so many rivers are there in India. So reverse water can be used for generating hydroelectricity, hydropower, but presently it is not being utilized. We are utilizing only to a limited extent, because the water in the dams, forest, it is a reserve for future generation. If we cut all the trees and all the forests presently, then what will be the needs? What will be the resources for our future generation? So we have capped them in reserve categories for the future generation. So this will be the reserves, right?